General Hospital.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're diving into a dramatic new General Hospital-inspired storyline filled with secrets, unexpected discoveries, and choices that could change everything in Port Charles. A hidden chapter from Jason's past is about to come into focus, and this time, the truth may not stay buried for long. While Jason has always been known as someone who protects the people he cares about, a mysterious connection to his former WSB experiences begins raising questions. What really happened during those years, and why are certain details suddenly coming back into the spotlight? Meanwhile, Kai finds himself pulled into a situation he never expected. What begins as a simple search for answers slowly turns into a discovery that forces him to rethink everything he thought he knew. Kai has always tried to do the right thing, but this new information puts him in a difficult position. Should he reveal what he has learned, or keep quiet to protect the people involved? As rumors spread through Port Charles, Valentin finds himself facing a new challenge. He knows that secrets have a way of resurfacing, and the latest developments could threaten the careful balance he has worked hard to maintain. Valentin has always been strategic, always thinking several steps ahead, but even the best plans can fall apart when someone uncovers the missing piece of the puzzle. Jason's connection to the WSB has always been complicated. His time working with powerful organizations left behind unanswered questions, unfinished business, and people who still remember the choices he made. Now, a new discovery suggests that Jason's past may be connected to events happening in the present. For Jason, this is not just about old memories. It is about protecting the people closest to him and understanding who he can trust. When someone from his past resurfaces with important information, Jason realizes that the situation may be much bigger than he originally imagined. At the same time, Kai continues following the clues. Every answer seems to lead to another mystery. The more he learns, the more he realizes that several people in Port Charles may have been hiding the truth. Kai never expected to become part of such a complicated situation, but now he has a choice to make. Does he share what he discovered and risk changing everything, or does he keep the information hidden until he understands the full story? Valentin watches closely as the situation develops. He understands that information can be more powerful than anything else. A single revelation could change alliances, damage relationships, and force people to choose sides. But Valentin may have underestimated Kai. While others may see him as someone who is still learning his place, Kai's determination and curiosity could make him the person who finally connects all the pieces. Jason also faces a personal conflict. Throughout his life, he has made difficult decisions to protect others, but those decisions often come with consequences. Now he must decide whether to continue keeping the past hidden or finally explain what really happened. The people around Jason begin noticing that something has changed. His silence creates more questions, and those closest to him wonder what he is not saying. When Jason finally opens up about parts of his history, the truth could surprise everyone. As tensions rise, Kai's discovery begins creating a chain reaction across Port Charles. A secret connected to Jason's WSB history starts affecting relationships, friendships, and future plans. Nobody knows exactly where this information will lead, but everyone understands one thing: the old rules no longer apply. Valentin attempts to stay in control, but unexpected challenges continue appearing. The more he tries to manage the situation, the more unpredictable it becomes. Sometimes the biggest threat is not an enemy standing in front of you, but a truth that can no longer be ignored. Jason has faced impossible situations before, and he knows that protecting people sometimes means making difficult choices. But this time, the challenge is different. This time, the truth itself may be the thing that changes everything. Kai's discovery could become the turning point that reveals hidden connections between the past and the present.
It could answer questions that have remained unanswered for years, but it could also create new problems nobody saw coming. The future in Port Charles is uncertain. Friendships may be tested, alliances may shift, and long-hidden information may finally come to the light. What happens when Jason's past meets the present? Will Kai's discovery bring clarity, or will it create even more questions? And can Valentin protect his carefully built plans when the truth starts spreading? One thing is certain, the next chapter will bring emotional decisions, unexpected revelations, and moments that could change the lives of everyone involved. If you enjoyed General Hospital updates, dramatic story breakdowns, and exciting Port Charles developments, make sure to stay connected for more stories and discussions. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Jason should reveal everything about his WSB history, or should some secrets remain hidden? Share your opinion, because the biggest twists often begin with the questions fans ask. Stay tuned, because this story is far from over, and the next discovery
The situation in
could change
Port
everything.
Charles continues to grow more complicated as new details begin coming to light. What started as a simple search for answers has now become a mystery involving trust, loyalty, and choices from the past. Jason knows that every decision he made during his time connected to the WSB had a purpose. He never acted without a reason, and he always believed protecting innocent people mattered more than protecting his own reputation. But now, with pieces of his history beginning to surface, he realizes that staying silent may no longer be an option. For years, Jason kept certain parts of his life private, not because he wanted to deceive the people closest to him, but because he understood that some information could put others at risk. However, the situation has changed. Someone else now has pieces of the puzzle, and Jason knows he needs to find out what they know before it creates even bigger problems. Meanwhile, Kai struggles with the weight of his discovery. He never expected to uncover information connected to someone as experienced and complicated as Jason. At first, Kai wondered if he had misunderstood what he found, but the more he investigated, the more certain he became that something important was being hidden. Kai faces a difficult choice. He could step back and pretend he never discovered anything, but that would go against everything he believes. He knows that truth matters, even when the truth creates uncomfortable conversations. As Kai searches for more answers, he notices connections between different events that happened over time. Small details that once seemed unrelated now appear to be part of a much bigger story. The question becomes, who else knows about this information, and who has been trying to keep it hidden? Valentin realizes the situation is moving faster than he expected. He has always been someone who carefully plans his next move, but unexpected discoveries can change even the strongest strategies. He understands that Jason is not someone who can be easily manipulated. Jason's instincts, experience, and determination make him a difficult person to challenge. But Valentin also knows that every person has a weakness, and sometimes that weakness is the people they care about most. The tension grows as different sides begin searching for answers. Some want the truth revealed, while others believe keeping certain information hidden is the only way to prevent more damage. Jason finds himself caught between two responsibilities. One is protecting those around him. The other is finally confronting the choices he made in the past. For someone who has spent years carrying heavy responsibilities, admitting the truth may be one of the hardest challenges he has ever faced. Kai's discovery also changes how he sees the people around him. He begins questioning whether everyone has been honest with him. The experience teaches him that sometimes the biggest surprises come from the people you trust the most. As conversations take place behind closed doors, new questions emerge. Was Jason's WSB connection only about missions and assignments, or was there something more personal involved? Did Valentin know more than he admitted? And why does this information seem to matter so much now?
The answers may not come easily, but one thing becomes clear: the past has a way of returning when people least expect it. Jason eventually decides that avoiding the situation will only make things worse. Instead of waiting for rumors to spread, he prepares to face the questions directly. He knows some people may not understand his choices, but he also knows he cannot change what already happened. Kai watches closely as Jason prepares to reveal more. For Kai, this moment is important because it is not just about uncovering a secret. It is about understanding the people involved and deciding where his own loyalty stands. Valentin, meanwhile, begins making his own preparations. He understands that once certain information becomes public, there is no way to control how people react. His next move could determine whether he stays ahead or loses control of the situation. But the biggest surprise comes when another piece of information surfaces. A connection that nobody expected begins changing the way everyone views the entire situation. Suddenly, the mystery becomes bigger than Jason, bigger than Kai, and bigger than Valentin. The discovery reveals that several lives may be connected by events from the past. Jason realizes that protecting the truth and protecting people are not always the same thing. Sometimes revealing the truth is the only way to move forward. Kai's discovery also changes how he sees the people around him. He begins questioning whether everyone has been honest with him. The experience teaches him that sometimes the biggest surprises come from the people you trust the most. As Valentin faces a moment of uncertainty, the careful image he has built could be challenged by events he cannot fully control. As the pressure continues to build, Port Charles moves closer to a major turning point. Secrets are being questioned, loyalties are being tested, and every character must decide what matters most. Will Jason finally reveal the full story behind his WSB connection? Will Kai's discovery expose something even bigger than anyone expected? And can Valentin find a way to protect his future when the past refuses to stay buried? The answers are coming, but one thing is certain: the next chapter will change
The mystery
everything.
surrounding Jason's past continues to grow, and the closer everyone gets to the truth, the more complicated the situation becomes. What once appeared to be an old chapter of Jason's life is now connected to new events unfolding in Port Charles. Jason knows that secrets have consequences. He has spent years protecting information because he believes silence could keep people safe. But now he is beginning to realize that hiding the truth may have created more uncertainty than protection. After Kai's discovery, the atmosphere around Jason changes. People who once accepted his decisions without question begin wondering what else he has been keeping hidden. Jason understands their concerns, but he also knows they do not see the full picture. There are details from his WSB history that were never meant to come back into the spotlight. Certain choices were made during difficult moments, and every decision carried risks. Jason never expected those moments to return, but now the past is demanding his attention. Kai continues looking for answers, but he becomes more careful with every step. He realizes that information can be dangerous when it falls into the wrong hands. His goal is not to create chaos. His goal is to understand what really happened and why so many people are connected to this mystery. As Kai follows the trail, he discovers another clue that changes his perspective. The information suggests that the situation is not only about Jason's history. There may be other people who played important roles but never revealed their involvement. This discovery leaves Kai with even more questions. Who knew the truth all along? Who decided to stay silent? And why did everyone believe the secret would never come back? Meanwhile, Valentin begins feeling the pressure. He has always been skilled at controlling situations, but this time he is dealing with something unpredictable. Jason's determination and Kai's curiosity create a combination that is difficult to stop. Valentin understands that once the truth reaches the right people, everything could change. Relationships could be damaged, alliances could fall apart, and carefully planned decisions could become impossible to maintain. Instead of waiting for events to unfold, Valentin begins searching for his own answers. He wants to know exactly what Kai discovered and how much Jason has revealed. But Jason is already several steps ahead. He knows that someone is trying to understand his past, and he knows that protecting everyone may require him to finally speak honestly. The challenge is deciding how much information to share and when to share it. Jason has always carried the responsibility of protecting others, but this time he faces a different kind of battle. This is not about strength or strategy, it is about trust. For the first time in a long time, Jason must consider whether the people around him can handle the truth. Eventually, Kai finds himself in a conversation that changes everything. He realizes that the situation is not as simple as he originally believed. There are no clear heroes or villains. There are only people making choices based on what they thought was right at the time. This realization affects Kai deeply. He came searching for answers, but he discovers that every answer leads to another difficult question. As the tension rises, Jason decides that waiting is no longer possible. He prepares to reveal an important part of his past that could explain why certain decisions were made. The revelation surprises everyone. Some people understand Jason's choices immediately, while others struggle to accept the reality of what happened. The truth creates new conversations and forces old disagreements back to the surface. Valentin watches carefully, knowing that this moment could change the balance of power in Port Charles. But then another unexpected development occurs. A new piece of information appears, suggesting that the story is even more complicated than anyone realized. The discovery connects different events in a way that nobody expected, leaving everyone wondering who else may be involved. Jason knows he cannot ignore the situation anymore. The people he cares about deserve answers, even if those answers are difficult to hear. Kai also realizes that his role in this story has changed. He is no longer just someone searching for information. He is now someone who has become part of the mystery itself. And Valentin faces the biggest challenge of all. He must decide whether to continue protecting his secrets or accept that some truths cannot remain hidden forever. The future remains uncertain. Every choice creates a new reaction, and every revelation brings the possibility of another surprise. Jason's past, Kai's discovery, and Valentin's decisions are now connected in a way that could reshape everything in Port Charles. Will Jason finally reveal the complete truth about his WSB history? Will Kai uncover the final missing piece? And will Valentin find a way to stay ahead when everyone starts asking questions? The answers are closer than ever, and the next revelation could change the lives of
Pressure in
everyone
Port
involved.
Charles reaches a new level as Jason, Kai, and Valentin find themselves closer to a truth that could change everything. The questions surrounding Jason's WSB history are no longer just rumors. They have become a serious situation that demands answers. Jason knows that every secret has an expiration date. For years, he believed keeping certain details hidden was the safest choice. He believed that if he carried the burden himself, the people around him would remain protected. But now he is beginning to understand that silence can create its own dangers. The more Kai learns, the more he realizes that Jason's past is connected to choices that affected many people. The information he discovered was only one part of a much larger story, and finding the missing pieces becomes more important than ever. Kai carefully reviews everything he knows. He does not want to make accusations without understanding the full situation. He knows that one wrong assumption could hurt innocent people and damage relationships that may never recover. But one thing becomes clear: someone has been trying to keep this information hidden for a reason. Meanwhile, Jason prepares for a difficult conversation.
He knows people will have questions, and he knows some may not like the answers. But after everything that has happened, he realizes that trust cannot survive without honesty. Jason has spent years being the person others rely on. He has protected friends, defended family, and stepped into dangerous situations when others needed help. But now he faces a challenge that cannot be solved by simply taking action. This time, Jason must explain. He must open up about the choices he made, the risks he accepted, and the reasons behind decisions that others never understood. When Jason finally begins sharing more of his story, those listening realize there was far more happening behind the scenes than anyone imagined. The truth reveals a complicated history involving loyalty, responsibility, and difficult decisions. Jason was not simply following orders, he was trying to navigate a world where every choice came with consequences. Kai begins to see Jason differently. He realizes that the situation was never just about secrets. It was about the impossible decisions people sometimes have to make when they are trying to protect others. However, not everyone is ready to accept the explanation. Some people believe Jason should have been honest sooner. They question why certain details were hidden and whether things could have been handled differently. Jason understands those concerns. He knows trust is not rebuilt with a single conversation. It takes time, patience, and actions that prove someone can be believed. At the same time, Valentin faces growing uncertainty. His carefully planned moves are becoming harder to control because too many people are asking questions. Valentin has always understood the importance of information. He knows that knowledge can influence decisions, change alliances, and shift power, but now information he cannot control is spreading. For the first time, Valentin realizes that the biggest challenge may not be stopping Jason or Kai. It may be dealing with the consequences of the truth itself. As Kai continues investigating, he discovers another detail that links the past with the present. This new information creates a surprising possibility. The events happening now may have been connected long before anyone realized. Kai begins to question whether the current situation was accidental or whether someone expected these secrets to eventually return. The discovery forces everyone to rethink their assumptions. Jason realizes that protecting people doesn't always mean keeping them away from the truth. Sometimes protection means giving them the chance to understand what is happening and make their own decisions. Kai faces his own personal test. He must decide whether to continue searching for answers or step back before the situation becomes even more complicated. But his curiosity and determination tell him that stopping now is impossible. Valentin, meanwhile, makes a choice that could change the direction of the entire situation. Instead of waiting for events to happen, he decides to take control and confront the growing questions surrounding him. But soon, he discovers that controlling information is not the same as controlling people. Everyone involved has their own reasons, their own fears, and their own goals. As the truth begins to come together, Jason, Kai, and Valentin move toward a moment where every decision will matter. The next revelation could bring understanding, or it could create even more conflict. Jason's past is finally being examined. Kai's discovery is becoming impossible to ignore, and Valentin must face the possibility that some secrets are powerful enough to change everything. The biggest question remains: when the full truth finally comes out, will it bring people together or push them further apart? Because in Port Charles, every secret has a story, and every story has consequences.